Okay, well, today on the podcast we have, I don't know, fourth, fifth time returning guest, Ben Rosario. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Thank you for having me, Lindsay.
You all have some exciting news going down with the NAZ Elite, your Hoka agreement, your new sponsorship agreement. So tell us what's going on.
Sure. So we announced it today. You were talking to me just hours after this press release came out. It was something we've been working on for a long time with Hoka, of course. Our contract that we're currently in was set to expire at the end of this year, so December 31st, 2020. And we knew that. And so we've been working with them on what the new contract would look like. And you know, we've actually had it agreed upon for a good while now, but these things take time to get the legal side of it done and signed, and then you got to figure out when's the best time to release the news. So it's not new for me. I've certainly known about it for a long time, but it's still really nice to be able to share the news with the fans.
Yeah, it's super exciting. I think back to, gosh, when did you guys originally start working with Hoka?
We signed or came to terms on our original agreement with them in February of 2015.
Okay. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say I feel like you guys really made a name for them. Like not that they weren't already big, but in the distance running space, eyes are on Hoka a lot of times because of your group. Don't be humble, it's true.
Well, that was our hope. I mean, that was our promise to them. We started in 2015, they had already made quite a mark in the trail world, and then they had gone totally to the other side of the spectrum to show that they weren't just about trail. They signed Leo Manzano and made some track spikes for him, which I thought was brilliant. But our pitch was, hey, the masses are in the marathon and the half marathon, distance runners, and that's what we are, and that's we can be a conduit to those people for you. And so, they bought it, and then we came through on that promise, I think, and continue to do so.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I was reading through the press release and I noticed that there was a lot of talk about maternity leave and insurance and things like that go into it. So, can you expand on any of that at all? I know that you probably can't go into every single detail, but can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I would love to go into that as much as I can. So, the deal we're in right now is great. It's wonderful. But, we felt strongly that from the business side of things, that the next step was to work on a deal that would provide us even more funding and provide our athletes with the amenities necessary to compete at the highest level, obviously, but also to be revolutionary in some ways. And so, the way the contract is structured is that NAZ Elite gets this big giant lump sum from Hoka, and underneath that sum, we're able to provide administrative salaries, so coach, head coach, administrative assistant, these kind of things. But then we're also able to have a travel budget that's larger than ever before. We're able to double the amount of physio treatment available to our athletes. We're able to provide, as you said, health insurance, which is a big one. So essentially, we're on a group plan right now, all of the athletes and myself and my wife. But moving forward, the team will cover the individual athletes' health insurance. So we'll be on the same plan, but the team will pay for those athletes' health insurance, which that is big. That's a really big deal. And so, the financial aspect of this deal is quite a bit better than it was before, and that's just the natural way of it. It's not that there's anything wrong with the current deal; it's just the natural progression, and we've been able to come through and provide ROI, I think, for them. And so, we're really proud of this deal. And then on top of that lump sum, then Hoka is able to negotiate contracts with each athlete on our team. And so the grand total that they'll be giving us is I would say it's probably double what we're getting right now.
Wow. Okay, so the athletes' contracts are separate under the umbrella with your team. So then they work separately, but they have to be sponsored by Hoka if they're on your team. Explain that to me a little bit more.
Yeah, so it's sort of like a Venn diagram. So, you've got your athlete, and you've got Hoka and you've got NAZ Elite. So the athletes will sign two separate contracts,
Okay.
one with Hoka, one with NAZ Elite, and they mirror one another. And so all the amenities that you and I were discussing, travel, physio, health insurance, etc., coaching, all those things. Those are outlined in the NAZ Elite contract, along with a portion of their base salary, because in order to provide that health insurance, we have to be the ones. We have to at least be paying them a certain amount, and so that amount is covered under the Hoka NAZ Elite agreement, and then the rest of the base salary is covered under their contract with Hoka, as well as their bonus structure. We have a base bonus structure that every single athlete on the team um, is I guess agreeing to. So your standard times and places at major events, etc., Olympics, World Championships, national championships. But then there's the flexibility for athletes and agents um, to work on extra bonuses, maybe particular to them. And certainly for our international athletes, that's the case, because not every country is created equal in terms of depth. And so like I say, there's flexibility in the contract, even though there is a nice base bonus structure that we believe is really competitive in the marketplace.
Do you think that you're one of the first groups to dive into the health insurance thing? Like, are most athletes that are pro going individual on that?
Yes, I think most.
Yeah.
Now, I know the Hanson's team, because you work at the stores, they're able to provide some health insurance. I'm not really sure what other groups do. I can't speak to that. I think that, brands aren't able to do it for obvious reasons. And I think some people get fired up about that, but you have to understand how it works. I mean, these people are not employees of Hoka or Nike or Adidas or Asics or anyone. So they're not going to be providing health insurance, and nor should they, I don't think. However, because of our group, we're in a different situation, because we're a nonprofit organization, and as a 501c3, and as such, we can get a group health insurance plan, and that's what we've done. And so that's what makes this possible.
Okay. I don't think I knew you were a 501, 503. I'm going to say that wrong. I don't think
501c3.
501c3. I don't think I knew you were a nonprofit.
Yeah, so that was a change we made early on, because you're able to do that through the Ted Stevens Amateur Athletic Act of 1978. So essentially, if you have a group, and this applies to a lot of different sports, where you're considered an Olympic sport and you're training for the Olympics, you can get that designation, and that allowed us to get grants early on from Running USA and RRCA and USATF, and it was just a better way to structure it, from the financial side. It's just a business decision, but it's worked out really well for us.
Yeah, we maybe covered that in one of my the first episode with you, but I don't know. I don't remember.
That's okay.
Okay. So are you looking to expand with your coaches or bringing on new athletes? Are there any new athletes coming on anytime soon that we should be listening for an announcement or anything?
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely going to try to stay relevant here over the next couple of weeks, because our season has kind of come to an end. So we, strategically decided to release this after that, and then we certainly hope to be able to make a couple of roster announcements in the coming weeks, and like I say, stay relevant until we start racing again. So
Yeah.
we've kind of planned everything out from a calendar perspective, and yeah, some of our roles administratively are going to expand as well. And we'll be keeping everybody up to date on those things as they come.
Okay, let's talk about your season. You guys just had the Hoka Distance Carnival. What was the
Hmm.
significance behind choosing to do an hour race for the guys?
Um, yeah, and I'm gonna take my headphones off here. Sorry.
No worries.
What was the significance of the hour race? So the and can you still hear me?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm
The
echoing, but
significant.
it'll be okay.
Okay. I'm just plugging in for a second, so maybe I'll get off of this echoey thing in a second.
It's fine.
The significance of the hour run was just something different and fun. We we were coming to the end of the season and we were kind of hanging on by a thread on the guys' side. We were a little dinged up, to be very honest with you. And they didn't, to me, they weren't ready for a 10,000 meter race on the track and spikes for a variety of reasons, dealing all related to the kind of little injuries that they had. And so, it was just different and fun, and we just took a swing, and there was really going to be no penalty for it. I mean, if they did well, great. If not, at least we tried something different. And so that was really all it was, no more, no less. And I think it was fun. We kind of didn't do that well, but I think we learned a lot from it, and we'll try it again sometime.
Okay, so then the women did the 10K and they ran fast. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so that was a different deal because they were very, very fit, and they had raced really well at the 5,000 meter event we had in St. George, Utah, and they had gone 1, 2, 3 there, and then they went 1, 2, 5 at the Sunset Tour meet and beat a really good field. And Lauren had run 15:10, and Kellen 15:11, and Steph 15:19. So we knew they were in very, very good shape. And there was another 10,000 meter, or there was a 10,000 meter race at the second Sunset meet, but um, no offense to the field, it was a good field, but it wasn't set up to go as fast as we felt like they could go.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to do more of a time trial type thing. We prefer racing, honestly, and that's 99% of the time what we're going to choose. But this one time we felt like, hey, let's just get out there and show, first of all, them, but then also the public at large, how fast these women really can go. And so we had Ben, Bruce, Pace, and they just ran as fast as they could. And Kellen ran 31:07, and Steph 31:34, and Lauren 31:53, and it was her first 10,000. So those were all really fast times. I mean, Kellen's time would be, if there was an official mark, it would make her the 7th fastest American ever.
Crazy. That's crazy. And I read your tweet about how she had, like, the day before went and picked up a new foster child that was entering their home, drove 4 hours, then got in the car the next day, drove 9 hours for the race. She's amazing.
Yeah, she's a superstar. Yeah, I don't know how she does that. I think I've told her before that from a coaching perspective, I don't understand why she adds all these things to her plate. But from a human being perspective, I really have a ton of admiration for her.
Yeah, I remember talking to both you and her about that a little bit the weekend of the trials. Which, by the way, it's so crazy. Can you even believe that we were all down in Atlanta, like, just living life like normal? Aliphine won the trials, and 2 weeks later, nobody leaves home.
I know. We're so fortunate, right, that we got that in, because honestly, 2 weeks later, as you say, it wouldn't have happened.
No.
So it's just, I'm incredibly grateful that took place.
Yeah, seriously. Okay, can you talk to us a little bit about Lauren? She's one of the few NAZ members that I have not interviewed for no particular reason. I just haven't done it yet. So, can you share a little bit about her joining the team and what it's been like to have her on the team?
Yeah, sure. So Lauren joined in the winter. Her story is very interesting because she's, in her early to mid 30s now, and she had been running quite well at the 5,000 meter distance for a number of years, but was kind of stuck in that like 15:14 to 15:15 kind of range.
Okay.
Kept running sort of the same time, and had some small sort of sponsorship deals, but honestly had really struggled finding a sponsor to believe in her, quote unquote, at her age,
Mm.
at that distance. And it was really frustrating for her, I think. But I knew her, and I knew her husband, Max, who was coaching her. And we had a little chat in November, this past November, at the New York City Marathon. She was running the US 5K champs the day before the marathon. And I actually was just asking them if she would maybe be interested in coming out and training with us for the trials, just as a guest, if you will, because I knew she got along with our women really well, and I thought she could provide a great training partner for them. And I thought she could be a great training partner for them, and I thought vice versa as well. I thought they could be a great training partner for her. And out of that conversation came the realization that actually she would be interested in joining full time, which I wasn't even suggesting, but because she and her husband live in Memphis. But they apparently had already talked about this and were totally okay with her living somewhere else in order to advance in her career. And so one thing led to another, and we got a deal signed. Her agent is Josh Cox, and it worked out really well. And so she came out in the winter, and we were very gradual about training, getting used to altitude and to the new type of um, things. Basically, the volume of the
Oh,
workouts was a change for her, but we eased her into those workouts, and she took to them really well. And I mean, geez, by the time the summer rolled around, she was in the best shape of her life, and I was glad that she was able to prove that tangibly with that 15:10 5,000 meter.
so was the 15:10? Was that like a 5 second PR?
Yeah, 4 point something second
Okay.
PR, and like I said, I mean, she had run 15:14 years ago,
Yeah.
and so she had kind of been stuck there, and so it was a big deal. And honestly, she was full of run at the finish, so I think she's got a lot of room to improve as we head into what now will be an Olympic year in 2021.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. I don't want to be negative, but fingers crossed.
Yeah, I think we're all right.
You do? Okay. Good. I'll take that as an
I'm a
affirmative.
lot. I feel a lot better than I did before, and the IOC just came out with their statement that they're hell bent on this thing happening with or without COVID being completely behind us, and they're working behind the scenes obviously to create a safe environment, even if that means no spectators. And now that we see the NBA and the PGA and MLS and even football, happening with lots of testing, I think it's clear that we can have sports. It just there's a lot of protocols that have to be in place.
For sure. What's that been like for you as a coach coming off the trials and then, all the stay at home orders? People are kind of training by themselves. I'm sure you guys, I don't know when you guys started training together again, but how did you kind of navigate that with the team?
Yeah, we've navigated it like everybody else, one step at a time, trying to digest the information that we're being given from the experts and decide how that applies to us. Early on, when the stay-at-home orders were in place in our state, then we stayed at home.
Right.
We ran, but not together. Then when the stay-at-home order started running together, we've been careful the whole time. Um, I think that I feel good about what we did.
Yeah.
We were responsible, and then after we started running together, we started thinking of ways to compete.
Mm-hmm.
And we were able to put on uh, a track meet in St. George, Utah, against other people, and we had lots of protocols in place, and everybody was safe, and that made us feel good. And we kind of controlled that one, but then we knew what it was going to take for an event to be safe. And so when Jesse Williams was putting on the Sunset Tour meet, and we knew what protocols he had in place, we felt good about that meet, so we went out there. And then, of course, we put on our own event in Santa Barbara, which we talked about at the top. So I feel like we've gone through this. We've gone through kind of every step of it, where we didn't do anything, then we came together slowly, got back on track, and then found ways to compete. And so now as we head into the fall and eventually next year, I think it's going to be more of the same, just kind of keeping an eye on things and what we're supposed to be doing those things, but absolutely moving forward and doing our job, which is to run and to compete.
Yeah, what is the fall looking like? I saw Steph put something on Instagram that she was doing the New York City virtual. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I guess I didn't even really know that. I guess, yeah, I didn't even think about pros doing the virtual option. So, um, is anybody else doing fall virtual races? What does that look like?
I think she's the only one that's signed up for a virtual race at that level. She's a great brand ambassador, and it's not surprising to me that the New York Roadrunners would be interested in bringing her on to help promote that
Mm-hmm.
event for them. I know that the World Half Marathon Championships in Poland are going to be taking place October 17th. So Rory Linkletter will be representing Canada there. Being very safe, obviously, getting tested, getting on the plane, getting tested again when he gets off the plane, doing his part to stay safe when he's over there. But we're excited about that.
Yeah, that's
There
exciting
are
that he gets to do that.
That's really exciting. Yeah, yeah. And there are a couple of races that I believe are going to be happening in later October, but I think those are not announced yet. And then to be very honest with you, I don't mind saying that I'm working with Josh Cox and my old business partner, Matt Helbig, from Big River Race Management, and we're going to try to put on a road marathon in December. And we feel pretty confident about the venue we're working with, and we don't have um, we don't have everything signed, sealed, and delivered. So I don't feel comfortable yet making it super public. But I mean, all the details. But I don't mind saying that we're working on it,
Yeah, I was going to
and
say,
I've
can we
already been
release this?
well, yeah, I mean, I don't mind saying that we're working on it. I'm just not ready to say it's absolutely 100% happening, but I've already talked to coaches and agents and athletes, and we have a lot of interest from top athletes across the country. And I mean, it'll be very controlled and very small, but I think super high quality and super safe.
Wow, that's really exciting. I can't believe you just shared that. Just totally took me by surprise there. Um, I feel like I have a lot of questions, but don't know if I can ask them because I don't know how much you're willing to share.
I mean, you can ask whatever. I mean, I'm happy to answer if I can.
Yeah, so you and Josh and then your old business partner, you guys are working together. So are you just pitching different groups and athletes that are marathoners and saying, "Hey, are you doing a fall marathon yet? Would you be interested in this? What does that look like?"
I think it was more an email that was a call for interest.
Okay.
You know, let us know if you're interested, and we got a lot of interest right away. So that was good because obviously if we didn't have that, there would be no point in pursuing this. But we've been working on it a couple months now, and so the thinking is, you know, if we can get a venue in the Phoenix area where it's nice and predictable weather-wise in December and flat,
Mhm.
we can put on an event in an isolated area with
Mhm.
no fans.
Mhm.
Um, and, you know, truthfully, let's say we had 50 men and 50 women, and they were all tested before they came, they were tested once they arrive. It's really no different than, let's say, what the PGA Tour is doing when they have a
Totally.
150 person PGA Tour event. And we can put this on with a pretty skeleton staff because we're going to have a loop course. Because you don't need a 26-mile long
Mhm.
route. You don't have 50,000 people running. You can do a 4-mile loop
Mhm.
over and over and over again, similar to Atlanta uh, at the trials. So that's kind of the thinking is, hey, we can pull this off. We don't need to have a mass participation event in order to do this. And Josh believes we can get some sponsors for this event, which I think so too, because we're going to have a lot of stars. And as you saw at the trials, there's a hunger for marathoning in the U.S. right now at the professional level.
Wow. I think that the fans too will be so excited to hear this because every fall, every spring, we look forward to the majors and watching these races where all the big pros are running in. So that gives us something to look forward to as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're gonna. I mean, the fans. That's what will make it valuable. And so, you know, what the broadcast is going to look like, I can't say yet. But that's what we're hoping will be the piece that can um, make this truly special. It's basically a made for TV event or made for web event, depending on who we end up working with.
Oh man, that would be really cool if you guys could actually get it on TV. Get NBC on there, or I don't know, I just made up NBC, but that would be so cool if we could all actually watch it on TV.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
The days of streaming, though, it has been fun to watch the virtual races, like just streaming them from Instagram Live or whatever it is as well, though. That is so exciting. Okay, yay. Is there anything else you want to share about the new agreement with Hoka? I'm sure you're relieved that you have 4 years and you kind of can just focus on the business and the team and not have to worry about re signing in 2 years.
Yeah, we're not worried about it, but at the same time, it's always on the forefront of our minds that Hoka trusts us, believes in us, and is paying us to be brand ambassadors for them. So that's what we're going to do, and it's all connected. You know, the performances are a huge part of it, but so are the Instagram posts and the tweets and the Facebook posts and the e-newsletters and the interaction with fans at events. All of it is connected, and we have to be coming through on all that. So I am not the type of person to feel that sense of relief. It's more I feel a sense of responsibility
Mm.
because we're getting paid a lot of money to come through for these guys, and I want to do that.
Let me ask you this. How do you hold your athletes accountable in that sense as far as the social media goes? And, you guys are so good about doing interviews on podcasts and things like that, but do you stay on the athletes? Like if you notice they haven't posted in a while or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's communication. I think it's a matter of talking about it and not trying to force things on them, but
Mm-hmm.
trying to encourage them to find their own voice on social media. And over the years, have some athletes done better than others? Yes, I think that's very fair to say. But my hope is that even the athletes for whom it is not their favorite thing can find a way to enjoy it, um, because it is part of their job. And so, the hard, cold truth is that you have to be into that side of it, or you have to be willing to be into that side of it if you want to be a part of the team, because it's absolutely a core piece of what we do and who we are.
Yeah. Social media is hard because sometimes you just feel like you don't have anything to say and you don't want to force anything. And you're like, sometimes I go a whole week where I don't make a post and I'm like, I don't want to force it. I don't want to say something that I don't care about saying. And I don't want to post just to post. So it is interesting how in 2020, as an athlete, it's such a big part of their careers because 20 years ago, that didn't have anything to do with it.
Well, part of the nice thing for us moving forward with the new contract is we're going to be able to spend more time and money on some of the things that will help them on social media. For
Oh, cool.
example, more pictures, more videos, more content that we'll be able to have at their disposal.
Mm.
And so, again, if you're an athlete that doesn't love what you're talking about, trying to come up with a tweet,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to. Just use one of these pictures.
Yeah.
Just use the videos that we're producing anyway. So we're all working together to try to create content, and part of it is just sharing that content that the team is producing, and so we're going to try to produce more than ever.
That's great. Yeah, that's huge because nobody wants to hand their husband the phone and say, "Can you take a picture of me running by real quick?"
Yeah, we're going to try to take care of a lot of those things, and we have before, but again, this is going to be a new level of content and consistency in that content.
Oh, that's so awesome. All right, last question here. How's e-learning going? Are you doing e-learning at home?
Well, I mean, yeah, Addison, our Jen and I's daughter, she is doing virtual school. She loves it. So I can't say that I'm heavily involved. She just gets on there and does her thing. And at the end of the day, I ask her how it went, and she says, great.
Oh,
So,
that's awesome.
we're very lucky.
She's in second grade?
Fourth grade.
Oh, fourth grade. That's probably a good sweet spot. Fourth grade. Pretty independent. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to deal with what you guys have to deal with some of the younger ones.
Yeah, my little two are in daycare all day, so that's nice. But my other two that are home, they are second and kindergarten. And second grade is going pretty good, but kindergarten virtual, man, it's kind of a joke.
Yes, Steph and Ben Bruce are dealing with that because they have a kindergartner and a first grader, and I
Oh,
think
okay.
it's just kind of organized chaos.
I don't think I realized their boys were that old already. Yeah, first in kindergarten. Yeah, I mean, they're basically doing what we're doing with the kindergarten and second. Yeah, it's really
Yep.
tough for sure. I saw that she posted on Instagram that she's looking she's looking to hire some help for some different brand type things, and one of them I think included maybe running errands or something. And I totally get that.
Yeah. I mean, the Steph Bruce brand, or the Bruce brand overall is is hard to manage, and so she could use a little bit of help. Yeah, I saw that she put that out on Instagram.
It's a lot. All right, Ben. Well, congratulations on the new deal with Hoka, the continued deal with Hoka, and thanks for sharing it with us.
Thanks, Lindsay. Appreciate you having me on so quick. It was great.
Yep. Have a good day.
See ya.
Bye.